All right, so you clicked on this video to watch it to figure out or to get some insight on how to build a stronger marriage. All right, well, you've come to the right place because my name is Christy Marcotte and I am going to take you through the 5 building blocks of a strong marriage. So, first, I'm going to just have, this is like an intro little video. I know your attention span is short, like everybody else's, like mine is, so I'm going to keep the videos short and sweet. So this is an intro video just giving you an overview of the 5 building blocks that you need to have in your marriage to have a strong marriage. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about in the video is I'm going to just talk about some of the causes that marriages fail, the reasons why, just some common ones. Not everything, but just some common reasons that marriages fail. Then I'm going to introduce you to the 5 blocks that you're going to need to build a strong marriage. And then I'm going to talk about what's your homework. What do you do? What is your next step? What is it that you need to do to get started, to get to work? So I'm going to tell you right up front, it's not easy. It's not easy to do these things, but if you want to have a stronger marriage in 2016, which I do, so I'm reminding myself all the time of these things. And it's a good thing I teach this stuff because it's a constant reminder because I'm getting really forgetful at my age. So anyway, all right, so some causes. Here's some causes. One of the causes is unreasonable expectations. Unreasonable expectations. When you got married, you probably had some expectations in your head, some thoughts about, what you expected. And, like for me, probably an unreasonable expectation was, oh, I think I'm just going to stay home and, I'm going to have everything taken care of, right? My husband's gonna work, I'm gonna stay home and take care of the kids. And so I had a highly unreasonable expectation for the area that I live in. I live in a very expensive area in California, and it's really hard to have a single income home and be able to make it in this particular county. So that was kind of an unreasonable expectation and something I didn't communicate to my husband, quite frankly. The other thing, another common cause that marriages fail or seem to start to crumble is unaccepted differences. Unaccepted differences. This is like, for me, I'm super extroverted. Like, I could talk to you for 5 minutes and I'd be discussing our retirement and savings fund and, where we bank at and all that stuff. It wouldn't bother me a bit. My husband, on the other hand, is complete opposite of me. He's very introverted and just, he's drained in social settings. I, on the other hand, I'm energized by social activities and parties and stuff like that. I mean, that's just fun for me. For him, it's okay, but it's not something that energizes him for sure. It's the total opposite. But unaccepted differences between you and your husband, that's another very common reason marriages fail. Another thing, and you probably already know this, because if you're looking for ways to build a stronger marriage, maybe you're experiencing this, which is unresolved conflict. Just stuff that you guys have been arguing about for a long time and just don't get it resolved, and it keeps coming up and coming up and coming up, and it just doesn't get resolved, and that can tear a marriage apart. Another one is unforgiven mistakes. This is huge. This is where one of you has made a huge mistake and the other person just cannot get past it. No matter how many apologies, no matter how many attempts to be transparent and open and honest and change, that person has begun to see you in a certain way and they can't get past it. And it's just an unforgiven mistake, and it absolutely kills a marriage. The last one is unreliable commitments. Our commitments these days are just not like they used to be. We get a divorce over the littlest things. And so unreliable commitment. You have one foot out the door, or you're always looking at the way out, or you're always contemplating, could it be better, with someone else, or should I have married a different person, or you're always thinking about that. You have an unreliable commitment. If that's always plaguing your mind, that you're looking at other relationships and saying, I just really need to find something else because I need to be happy, and God wants me to be happy. A lot of us that are Christian, we use that excuse, right? God wants us to be happy. So, I made a mistake by marrying this guy, so I need to move on. So those are just some common causes for marriages to break down, and many times divorce follows. So I'm going to introduce the 5 building blocks of a strong marriage, because that's what you want, right? All right. In the essence of time here, I'm going to just do the introduction for them. And then if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will keep doing videos that break this down and go into more detail in each of the blocks. But the first block that we're going to talk about, the very first block, and in fact, before I get started, I'm going to read a Bible verse that is the theme verse, one of the theme verses for the entire message on the 5 building blocks of a strong marriage, this whole thing. And this is actually just a small snippet of a very long series that I teach on at my church in the support group that I lead. But I'm going to read this Bible verse to you. It's in Matthew, and I'm actually going to get a drink because I'm very thirsty. It's in Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. Gotta have these or I won't be able to read. It says in Matthew chapter 7 verse 24 through 27, it says, "Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes and in torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it is built on a bedrock." It's the reason why I called this series the 5 building blocks of a strong marriage, because you want your marriage to withstand the winds, the rain, the snow, the storms of life. And if those storms come, and they will, several storms will come throughout your life. That's pretty much a guarantee. This is earth and not heaven, so don't get the two mixed up, right? So we want to have a strong, strong foundation. And I'm going to go into the details of who that foundation is. But I'm going to talk about, just real quick, these 5 building blocks. The first one is, and I actually have real cement building blocks that I'm using, because I think everybody needs to have a visual aid, right? Okay, so the first one is commitment. Commitment. We have to have a concrete commitment, if you will. We've got to have a concrete commitment, right? All right, so we've got commitment. Got to have that. That means you're throwing divorce out the window, and I'm going to move on because I'll get to that in the next 5 videos, which is going to break these down into more detail. Next one is consideration. You've got to have consideration in your marriage. So the next one is consideration. Hope you can see these. All right. Next one is communication. This is a no-brainer. All right. This is just, you got to have communication. And in fact, you need to have constructive communication, because you can have communication where messages are being sent back and forth and it's destructive. But we want constructive communication. Hope you can see all those. Then the next thing is obvious. This is a biggie. Cooperation. Yeah, we need cooperation. You know why? Because we don't know how to get along. We have to learn how to cooperate with each other. They didn't teach this in high school. I don't know if they taught it in college, because I didn't take very many college classes. I took a few, but not very many, and never saw it on the roster for the campus catalog for the list of classes, that's for sure. Learning how to cooperate with each other. Negotiations, but cooperation, you need compassionate cooperation in your marriage to get through it, because you're two different people, and let me tell you, you are going to argue about a lot of stuff. Me and my husband, complete opposites. We don't even like the same kind of pizza, for crying out loud. I mean, he's like super, super tall, dark hair, brown eyes. I'm like super, super short, light hair, light eyes. Total opposite. Love him to death. And it will be till death do us part. All right, next one. Connection. This is the last block. You need consistent connection. You need to be emotionally connecting. You need to be physically connecting. You need to be connecting on a regular basis. So I call that one consistent connection. So there's the 5 blocks. And the last thing is, I'm just going to tell you, here's your homework. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's your homework. Keep coming back. I'll tell you, if you want to have a different marriage in 2016, a better marriage, you've got to do something different. So if what you did in 2015 isn't working, I'm going to suggest keep coming back, watch my videos. You can check out my website. It's www.straighttalkforwives.com. I'll have it in the notes right here so that you can click on it and get over to my website. But subscribe to my channel. I'm just here to help you. I'm like on a mission to help people, marriages become better, because I believe they can. If you just keep coming back and listening to my YouTube videos, you'll hear bits and pieces of my testimony, and believe me, it's one for Jerry Springer if the show was even still on, which I don't know, but he probably would be pretty interested because it's been pretty rocky. But I've been married for 22 years and had an awesome past 6 years. 7 years now. But I'm telling you, the first ones were not so great. I'm very stubborn. My husband's very stubborn. And it's taken us a long time to get where we are. But if you're willing to do the work, you can have a better marriage. All right, we'll see you in the next video, and we'll dig a little deeper. So I hope you have some gloves and you're ready to get to work.